How's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group and RetireSharp.com. Today's topic I want to discuss with you guys a 401k transfer and go over the process of a 401k account, and then when someone may be eligible for a transfer, kind of go over the pros and cons of each, of either transferring it over to a new 401k to a new employer, or you could roll that over into a specifically designed IRA contract, and really dissect what are some of the problems, the common mistakes that individuals make, and then how you could essentially leverage those old 401k monies to make sure that it's correlating exactly and you could customize it to your exact retirement goal. Now, with the typical 401k plan, what happens is an individual, I'm going to draw this little ugly stick figure over there. An individual is working for a company, and what happens is as they're working in the first couple of weeks, they might be offered something known as an employee benefits package that states, okay, you might have your health insurance, you might have your ancillary products, and then we're also going to allow you to contribute into a type of retirement account known as a 401k. So what happens is each and every month, week, day, year that this individual is working for this company, he or she could take a portion of their salary, place it over into this type of retirement bucket known as a 401k. So every single day, every single month, every single year that they're placing more and more contributions into that plan is going to obviously get placed into this 401k account. Now, this 401k account is also linked into something known as mutual funds. They're typically linked with different sorts of stock options or mutual fund options available that that specific employer, has the relationship with, with one of these companies that offer the 401k, and they'll have a whole slew of different mutual fund options that this individual could choose. So it doesn't really matter how much they're placing into this account. What determines whether or not this account is going to be larger or smaller at the end of the day, end of the year, is going to be the combination of the contributions into that account, and then also what these mutual funds performed back. So if somebody goes and has contributions of $100,000, and the mutual fund performance performed 10% that year, well, then you have $110,000 that's sitting into that bucket. But like we saw in 2008, if the mutual fund performance comes back negative, let's say that it comes back with a minus 20% loss, and you had $100,000 sitting in there, even though this person throughout all the years placed $100,000 into this plan, and the plan was going up, going down. With that 1 year, that would be a $20,000 loss because of that mutual fund performance that was linked to it. That the interest credit that's linked to this specific bucket could either be positive or, worst case, can be negative. So what exactly happens, and when would somebody be interested in setting up a 401k transfer, and what are some of the processes with that? So to clear off the screen, what happens is a person might be leaving that employer, or you might have a new company is now taking over the 401k plan, and you might have certain options where you could transfer the 401k into a new 401k plan, or you could roll it over, you could leave it on the sidelines, leave it with that existing 401k plan, or you could roll it over into a specifically designed IRA contract. So there's two major options that allow somebody to transfer their 401ks out. The number one reason would be if you're working for company ABC and you realize, okay, I'm leaving this company and now I'm going to be working for company XYZ. Well, now you have those 401k monies that are sitting on the sidelines, that are sitting with that previous ABC employer, which you could now, when you're establishing your new 401k account through company XYZ, you could go and roll those monies to jumpstart that 401k plan. Now, the negatives with the 401k plan, and a lot of times why that's not necessarily the best thing, is with 401k plans, the reason why individuals do them or set them up is because for any dollar that they're contributing into that type of plan, any contribution, it's going to be known as pre-tax. So you could get a tax deduction for placing dollars into that plan, but all the monies that are growing into that plan are going to be fully taxable. So if someone's making $100,000, which is going to use easy math, and they decide to place $10,000 into their 401k plan that year, after their adjusted gross income, it's going to show as if they made $90,000 that year because they were placing it into a qualified retirement account, qualified through the IRS to say, yes, we'll give you your tax deduction now, but that $10,000 that's sitting in the 401k bucket, if this bucket's getting larger and larger and larger, when it comes time to actually pull monies from that account, from that 401k, it's going to be fully taxable on the IRS's guidelines. So that's known as a pre-tax plan. When you're transferring those monies from a 401k into a new 401k, well, nothing's changing there. It doesn't matter. It's not like you're going to be able to throw more contributions into the new plan or have a better match or something into the new plan, and that's really going to, give some exponential growth to those existing 401k monies. The 401k plan, yes, it gives you that pre-tax qualification, and then also the second benefit of a 401k is sometimes employers will give you a match, meaning that, with an example, if somebody makes $100,000 and the employer says they're going to match you up to 5%, well, if this person places 5% of their salary, $5,000 into the plan, the employer could also match the additional 5%, $5,000. So now you have $10,000 working into that bucket. Well, if you go and you transfer your 401k into the new company, it's not going to affect the match one bit. Still, whatever you're contributing, those monies are going to be, susceptible to whatever that match is. So a lot of times people say, oh, well, I have my 401k plan, I have my match plan, and they don't realize that whether you set up a 401k plan at this new XYZ employer and you're starting with $0 and now you're placing in 5,000, they're matching you 5,000, or you're rolling over or you're transferring 100,000 over and then you're establishing the $5,000 and they're giving you $5,000 benefit, the match is still going to remain exactly the same. The downside to 401k plans, let me clear off the screen. So the downside to a lot of these 401k plans is you're going to have limited funding options. When I'm talking about, yes, you could contribute into a 401k account, and sometimes you have employers that match monies into that 401k plan. That's obviously a benefit, but the mutual funds that you choose are typically very limited. You might have anywhere in between 10, maybe to 25 different options, as opposed to if you're looking mainly towards the best mutual fund route, you could actually take that existing 401k account, roll it over into a traditional IRA, and now maybe you might have 300 different funding options or 500 different funding options to choose from. So you just have more eggs in your basket to choose from rather than those limitations of those 10 to 25 options. When you go and you transfer from one 401k to the next, well, you lost out on being able to roll over those monies into a traditional IRA that could be customized to your benefit. It's not like the 401k is really giving you proprietary mutual fund options. Those mutual funds are going to just be some basic options because the better the options in there, the more expensive it is for the company. So that's why they like to limit some of those mutual fund options that you could have on a 401k sense. So if someone is eligible, let's say they've already accumulated $100,000 in their existing plan, they're now starting to work for company XYZ. Well, they could work for company XYZ, establish a whole new 401k plan, but the recommendations or some of the things to at least be mindful of is now you could leverage this $100,000 and you could place them into specifically designed traditional IRA contracts because it's going from the qualified retirement account of a 401k into a traditional IRA, which is a qualified retirement account. So it's known as a rollover process. And some of the things, and let me clear off the screen. Some of the reasons why that's beneficial is, let's say if you want to eventually retire and you want to start pulling monies from your 401k plans or from your qualified retirement accounts. Well, depending upon how old you are at that time that you are eligible for this 401k transfer, maybe you're 45 years old. So you could go and take, let's say out of that $100,000, you could take a portion of that $100,000 and roll it over specifically into a contract, into a specifically designed IRA contract that will provide you lifetime income when you hit age 60 or age 65, depending upon what your income goal is for retirement. You could splice it up and you could already execute those, or you could set up those contracts now that are most beneficial for an individual that's looking to retire at age 60, 62, 65, etc. So maybe you could say $50,000 is going to be set up for your max income goal with a specifically designed traditional IRA contract, rather than losing out on that opportunity and just transferring it into the 401k plan, which you just have limited mutual fund options. And that brings me to my next point. Let's say if you want to have better mutual fund options, well, then you can establish, let's say 50,000 could be set up for a specifically designed traditional IRA with your income goal. The other 50,000, you want to have some sort of growth associated with that, and you want to still stay the course with mutual funds, but you want to have more, you want to have cheaper mutual funds that have better mutual fund options rather than, the 10 to 25 that you might have with the new 401k account. Well, you could go and get established on a traditional IRA contract that might give you 300 plus different options to choose from, that you could go and, you could utilize, specifics that correlate exactly to your risk tolerance, and making sure that you're having good growth and you're minimizing out what those fees are. Another way is, a lot of times people hate downward market losses and they hate fees attached to their account. So there's ways on how you could set up traditional IRA contracts that have no mutual fund related fees, no retirement account fees, no advisor fees, will gain when the market goes up, not lose when the market goes down, known as indexing strategies. And you can set those up properly. You could set up for a death benefit maximization goal. So you just have so many different options to choose from. You could customize exactly what your goals are, particular to your retirement. And that's essentially where we come in. Is we're an independent agency, so we represent many states throughout the nation and make sure that, specific to what your situation is, depending upon your age, depending upon what your goals are, we try to help educate you on how to really figure out that picture, and then see exactly what are some of the best options available to you on either max growth goal, or a safe consistent growth goal, or a max income goal, and making sure that, just like retirement, we're going to segment it like a perfect puzzle. So we're setting up these individual pieces in the puzzle to make sure that they are, projected for your ideal retirement. So that when you retire, you're saying, okay, well, that 401k that I had previously, rather than leave it on the sidelines and leave it victim to fees and downward market losses, you could establish specifically designed IRA contracts, and you have a whole abundance of options you could choose. You could one that's set up with good mutual funds, others that's just set up with good indexing strategies, and then the third one set up for your max income planning, or vice versa, all into one of those three criteria. And so we try to educate you guys through personalized videos. We educate you guys through personalized reports. At any time that you found value in this video, you want to hear some more information, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. We implemented 24/7 customer service, so you can give us a call mornings, nights, weekends, holidays, whatever the case may be, and we'll make sure that there's a specialist standing by to, to help educate you and go from there. We are A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. We've always had very good reviews. We've never had any complaints. It's because of this methodical process, making sure that education is first and foremost, and you have to be educated. You have to really understand these things, and so that you can make the best informed decision. But thank you so much for watching this. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.